In 2022 and beyond, I really think that the most important thing that we can be doing in real estate to ensure longevity in this business is to be focusing on creating attraction-based businesses. So what I want to do in this video is show you the 3 systems that we've implemented in our business to create an attraction-based real estate business. Now, before I get into those 3 systems, and by the way, these are things that you can begin implementing right away, but before I get into those, I think it's important to understand why this is so critical in 2022 specifically and beyond. We've already understood for a long time that consumers, the public, home buyers and sellers, are beginning their journeys online way before they ever feel comfortable speaking to anybody about their real estate needs. We call this in the Market Authority Academy the 90-10 rule. That means that 90% of a home buyer or seller's journey is very quiet. They're not really sure what the process is going to look like for them yet. They don't know the timing. They don't know any of the specifics, but they have a feeling that something is going to cause them to need to make a move in where they live. That's a really big deal. And now, while through the day-to-day of our real estate business, we might forget how big of a deal that is to somebody, when it comes to altering the very place where somebody lives, they're not really excited to be shouting that from the rooftops. And once they do get to the point of actually telling their friends and family about their plans, looking for referrals for real estate agents, scheduling showings on Zillow, and actually making it really clear that they're in the process of buying or selling, that is like the latter 10% of the journey. And that is when leads are the most competitively sought after. That's when they have already interacted at that point with 5 to 6 other real estate agents. And they're really kind of armed with the information and guidance they need at that point, to where all they're looking for is somebody to open the door. Now, what happens when we are creating a business focused only on that 10%, which, by the way, is a lot of the cold calling, the door knocking, the open houses, the buying Zillow and Redfin leads, the, going through team leads, that kind of stuff. What happens when we only focus on those opportunities is we are ignoring the other 90% of the journey, where we can actually establish that know, like, and trust factor and eliminate all competition at the front. That 90% of the journey is where you are able to establish that relationship that brings people in, already self-converted, asking you if they can hire you, instead of you trying to scramble after a bunch of people who are already well on their way through their purchase and sale. Okay, so it's kind of looking at 2 different buckets of opportunities and deciding how you want to delegate your time, energy, and dollars into attracting those 2 different types of business. One, you're going to have to claw after and chase to the closing table. The other, you will be attracting into an endless pipeline of exponential growth. And so when we put it that way, it seems pretty obvious to me that in 2022, the attraction-based business model is the way to go. Let's get to the 3 systems in making that happen. So naturally, the first most critical system here is creating an irresistible brand. And we talk a lot about branding in this channel, but I think for this context specifically, it's really going to help piece this all together. Now, when we're talking about an attraction-based business model, in order to attract, we have to understand who it is we're attracting and what is attractive to them. That is where your irresistible brand comes into play. An irresistible brand, when it comes to a real estate business, very clearly defines the story of who you are, who you serve, and why you are uniquely poised to do that super well. This really is how you are able to articulate why somebody should hire you over your competition, and why you are relevant to the sale far before and way after the transaction. This is the secret to creating clients for life that don't forget you when it's time for them to sell their starter home and move up into the next home. Or this is how you also are able to educate your clients on how to refer you to anybody who might need your brand of real estate services. We've got a bunch of other videos on this channel that kind of cover this topic, so I won't go super deep in here, but what you have to understand is you need to clearly identify the audience or the segment of the market that you're looking to attract, where they are in that cycle of homeownership, and how you can create really unique solutions that serve them and are relevant to them, regardless of where they are in their home search or sale. Once you nail that down, that takes care of your social media content strategy. That takes care of overcoming any objection you could possibly face. That takes care of feeling salesy spammy, because suddenly you now have the exact method on how you can serve your clients and become a critical part of their success instead of trying to trick or manipulate them into hiring you as their agent. Now, the second system here is your database and referral network. Regardless of how you have built your business up until now, whether you have been in the business for 20 years because of a successful farming strategy, or if you are just starting out and you're cold calling 6 hours a day, regardless of however you've gotten started and gotten to where you are now, you have to be focused on creating a database and a referral network in your business. Here's why that is so critical. For example, cold calling can get you really far, and I can even suggest some incredible coaches who are extremely skilled at cold calling, and that can be a really great way to get some right now business. But what that means is if that is your primary way of generating leads, the moment you put the phone down, your business stops bringing in prospects. And that can be really challenging, because what if you get ill and have to take time off, like an extended leave? Or what if you go on a maternity leave? Or what if you want to go on a sabbatical and take your family on a trip to Italy, right? Like, there are all kinds of reasons why you might find yourself not tied to your phone for any given length of time. If that happens and your business is no longer procuring leads, you don't have a business. You are a salesperson who is only as good as their last prospect. And I've said that before on this channel, but if we really think about what that means you have no legacy in real estate. You have nothing to hand down, and you don't have a viable asset that is worth the years that you've spent building. And I know that probably sounds really spicy and maybe even cruel to those who have created really cool businesses and do a lot of production. I'm not discounting that work, but I'm saying that if you have missed the opportunity of cultivating a database and referral network, you have left a lot of opportunity on the table, and you might be kind of doing yourself wrong. And so that's why number two, the number two system here is your database and referral network, regardless of what methods right now you are actually bringing in prospects. I'll quickly define what these two things are. In terms of your database, a lot of times we get your sphere of influence confused with a database. These are not the same thing. Your database is kind of like the Rolodex. I was just watching When Harry Met Sally last night. It's out on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. And Sally breaks up with her long-term boyfriend, and she's at lunch with her gal pals. And she says she's ready to get back in the dating pool. And what does her friend pull out from her purse? This giant clunky Rolodex with like 300 cards of contacts.
Really, Marie?
Well, how else do you think you do it?
I've got the perfect guy.
So you can't really have a Rolodex without understanding who these people are. So this is how we want to kind of imagine this. Your database is that Rolodex where it's that record, that written record of the people who you know, how you know them, what their contact information is, and kind of ways that you can actually network and leverage those individuals. It kind of goes back to your network is your net worth, and you can literally quantify that in your Rolodex or in your contact book. This is your database, people you already know, like, and trust. Your sphere of influence is the sum total of all the people you've ever known, colleagues, friends of friends, extended family. Not necessarily will all those people belong in your database for a good reason. Okay, we want to keep the database specifically people who we have great relationships with, and those we want to continue developing relationships with. Now, your referral network can continuously be expanding on and off social media, and the goal of that is to have a method in place to continue meeting new people that you can then bring back into your database. The referral network helps you cultivate new relationships to grow your database, by which we can generate more referrals for our business. Your referral network might be a group of business associates, business networking that you're doing in your area, other real estate agents, maybe from other markets, who can refer you business, other channel accounts like relocation companies, that sort of thing. Now, just by the nature of having this database, that actually creates the math for a very predictable real estate business, because say from every 100 people you have in that database, you can literally expect between 8 and 25 deals from that group alone for every 100 people in that database. And so that actually makes scaling very feasible. And it makes it very clear on how you just need to market to that database, and the way that you market to that database will ultimately result in a predictable number of deals for your business. That's why that's our number 2 system. And finally, number 3, we have to have the means to market on and off social media. We have to market our business in a way that's going to attract new prospects in. And that marketing plan has to be reflective of the first system, which is our Irresistible brand, because the brand is the story, but the marketing is the vehicle that distributes it. And number 2, it has to be designed to convert contacts off of social media and into your database. And so the marketing system in itself, I could go on for hours. I don't have the time to do that with you here. But that marketing plan has to be systemized and automated in a way to where you can consistently put the right content in the right places over time, predictably, in order to produce the right results. There's a lot of automation that can happen here. You can still keep it very genuine, very authentic, but it's really making sure that you have the right plan in place to do that well. And then you have to have the right metrics in order to measure what's working and what's not. For most real estate businesses, this looks like a marketing plan that's going to cover 1 to 3 social media platforms, maybe an additional platform like a YouTube or a Google, or maybe even a paid ad source like Facebook or Google PPC. And then finally, you are going to have that same marketing applied to your database, but fine-tuned in a way that's going to speak to them where they're at. And so again, that plan has to be really consistent on and off of social media in a way to procure the right results. And you have to be able to track it to know what's working and what's not. And this takes a lot of time. This can take a while to really fine tune in a way that's going to be reflective of your skills and the time that you have to put into it, and your interest in even being on social media. But that's why that's number 3. Once you develop that plan, it's very easy to automate and delegate and almost set it and forget it in a way, and just kind of make sure to evolve it year after year. Now, obviously, there is so much detail I could go into here, and a lot of nuance too, depending on your specific setup. And for that reason, we have actually created a really exciting new training that is going to be open to all real estate agents. All the details for that are below. We are going live on May 25th. Depending on when you're watching that, that's going to be a little while from now. Or if this video has already passed that time, you will have the links to the replay in this caption. So see all the details below, where we are going to be sharing the 3 key systems to creating an attraction-based real estate business. I'm going to go way into depth on all these 3 topics that we've covered today, and exactly how you can implement that into your real estate business as a way to begin attracting your dream clients, achieve more scalability in your business, and finally get a sense of time and freedom back into your personal life while you're at it. It sounds too good to be true, but I am living proof, and many of my agents in the Market Authority Academy are examples of how well this works when executed properly. So do not miss this live training. Again, all those details are linked below. Hope to see you there, and thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time, keep on crushing it.